What's up, my ninjas? This is Strydent, and I am here with a very special vid. This is my 100th video. Yes, 100. I can't even believe it's been that long, but I've got some cool stuff in store for you. I hope you dig. I know you guys watch and listen to me rant and rave about everything from video games, toys, to movies, to video games, to just issues I see in various industries, even in comics and stuff. But there's little things that you guys may not know, and I figure what I'm going to do with this vid is I'm going to take some time to give some props to some certain people, and I'm also going to give you guys some insight as to who I am and what you would find on my channel, so that for those of you who are new to me and new to what I have to say, you will kind of have an idea of what to expect from me in the coming years. So stay tuned for that, all right? Happy New Year, everybody. So first, I wanted to give props to everybody who's been watching all my videos up to this point, and everybody who's taking part in the discussions and, you know, lending their point of view and everything, and all of you who feel what I have to say and actually feel like it's worth it. Thank you. I don't get paid for this, you know. This is just like what I like to do when it comes to the things that I am passionate about. When it comes to my fandom, quote unquote, or my geekdom, whatever you want to call it. I really like action figures. I really dig, you know, some video games. I used to dig comics real hardcore, and I'm trying to make a living doing that. And I'm hardcore into martial arts, so I love talking about things regarding the martial arts, and I love that there's, you know, a decent community of people who get involved with this too. So thank you for all of you on YouTube who, you know, aren't doing the same generic shit where everything is fake and gay, and you guys actually are lending your opinion to something, you know, that you're equally as passionate about as I am. Thanks again. Some of you are probably asking, why did you even bother to start doing YouTube videos in the first place? And I don't mean that mine are like the greatest, but, you know, you might wonder where the motivation came from. The motivation came from a couple things. The biggest thing was I saw a review for Superman Batman Apocalypse, and the review just completely missed all the things that made the movie good. Even though they didn't like the movie, they missed like a lot of points that if you're going to do a review, you're supposed to point these things out. You know, if you like film, you should point out directorial style, you know, music, sound effects, acting. Pretty much because Andre Braugher was Darkseid, they didn't like that, so the movie sucked to them. And I'm like, whoa, there's so much more going on in the movie than that, you know? And had this been a movie about freaking Dragon Ball characters, everybody would have been like, oh my god, insert Goku's penis into mouth. And, you know, and it's annoying because it's like, you know, some of us aren't 12. Some of us have seen more than that. So I felt like I need to come in here and give an honest review, an objective review, and not a subjective one where it's all about what I like and only what I like. Also, a lot of times when I watch reviews on YouTube about you know, games or comics or anything, it seems like the people's reviews reflect the opinion of someone who's been paid or somehow enticed to have that opinion. You know, like you're looking at a toy and the toy sucks, but everyone's like, oh, it's great because it's this character. But that's not clearly the case. You know, my brother complained, friends complained, and I was like, you know what, I can do a better job, and I'm going to do it. I also saw that a lot of people had, especially here on YouTube specifically, have editing skills, really good editing skills or decent editing skills, and they understand Avid and After Effects, and they do cool things with those, you know, but they can't do a good job doing a basic review or an interview. They don't cover the important parts, you know, because this is kind of lightweight journalism to some degree, and it's like, if you're going to report on something, at least know what you're fucking talking about. Or if you're going to do a toy review, let us see the toy. We don't want to sit there and look at the fact that you're awesome at After Effects. So I figured I'm going to take it back to the very, 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 very super old school style where we just focus on the image with pictures from different angles spruce it up, use some of my storyboarding and my illustration background, and make things look nice. And then when we're talking about film, I'll use my film background and I talk about what makes the film good, you know, besides just the typical, you know, hot girl, big explosions, blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, we get a bad rap as Americans anyway, especially when it comes to what we like in film, you know, big explosions, hot chick, blah, whatever. That's not all we like, you know. So, you know, these are the catalysts for why I got into this whole YouTube video making thing. Now, I would like to take some time out to give some props to the toy lines that I dug last year. You already know I'm a DCUC fan, but I wouldn't give props to the line 100%. What I'm giving props to are the 2-packs. Some of them were pretty cool because they give you a second chance to get figures that have long passed. For instance, you had Hawkgirl and Gentleman Ghost, and if you look for Hawkgirl on her own, she's pretty expensive online. Same thing with Gentleman Ghost. I've seen him for like $300. Black Adam versus Shazam. Second chance for you to get Black Adam, who you can't even find online on most sites. Or Superman versus Parasite. Another figure, Parasite, you can't find him anywhere. And then the big one was Harley Quinn and the Joker, the Mad Love 2-pack. You know, I gotta still, you know, go get mine. I saw it, I've got mine reserved for me, because I've got a friend, you know, that hooks me up, but still gotta go get it. But it's a superb, you know, figure, or a superb pack of figures, and they did a good job. Even though Joker is repainted wearing black, still, I mean, it's Joker. And then you have Harley, who, she was expensive from the inception. I think she was like, what, the second wave of DC Universe Classics? She was either in the first or the second wave. So it's kind of nice to get a second chance to get these hard to find figures. Also, the Batman Legacy packs. The 2-packs are okay. Some of them are nice, you know, especially the ones when they throw in the little Arkham City love. But I was happy that they gave us a second chance at Batgirl. I was also happy that they gave us a second chance at the S3 sculpt black and gray Batman suit, which was the standard Batman for the Batman Legacy line. He is pretty cool. You saw my custom. I'll have a picture of him popping up. There he is. I switched his head to one of the older heads, and it's just a nice figure. And it's cool that, you know, if you missed him the first time around, now they're flooding the shelves with these guys. And if you know how to do your lightweight customs, you know, soak the head in hot water or get your blow dryer out, you can pop off one head and put on a better head, and then you got your perfect Batman. I even went a step further and I used my Dremel and put some holes in his hands so he could actually hold stuff, and perfect Batman. Transformers Universe. This year, I'm not a huge Transformers fan, but I saw a couple Transformers and I picked up a couple that I was actually pretty impressed with. Mainly Sky Shadow here. I wasn't even looking for him, and then I found him. I know he's like a repaint of Blitzwing, I think his name was. But I like this version, and there's a whole bunch of history with the 2 looks and the 2 names for the characters. You can look that stuff up, but cool looking character, as well as Junk Heap, who is like another Junkion, pretty much a repaint or rebuild of Wreck-Gar. And, you know, there's been a couple others, but those were the 2 that stood out for me this year. I even picked up freaking Sideswipe from the movie, and you know how much I hate that fucking movie, the Transformers live-action movies, but I gotta give Hasbro their props with their Transformers stuff. They've been pretty good consistently, which is, you know, that's kind of strange, but, you know, it's nice to see that they have some good stuff. Then Hasbro's, you can't forget the G.I. Joes. Pursuit of Cobra and the 30th anniversary G.I. Joe figures, as well as the Renegades figures. They're all good figures, lots of accessories, really good articulation for the most part, and they're sturdy figures. There's not much more to ask for, you know. I picked up 3 of the Renegades figures. I got Scarlet, Ripcord, and Tunnel Rat. And then I picked up the Techno Viper and something else. Oh, Hazard Viper from the 30th anniversary. A bunch of Cobra Troopers, a bunch of Cobra Vipers, a bunch of freaking Iron Grenadiers. You know, I just been G.I. Joeing it up. So props to Hasbro for that. Props to Hasbro also for their, there's a lot of Hasbro love, but props to Hasbro for their Marvel movie figures. Those movie figures, I'm talking Thor, Iron Man, and Cap. Those are some awesome figures. I mean, if you ignore the hips, you got some really good figures on your hands. So props to them for that. Also, props to Chap May. They're a sleeper company that a lot of Joe collectors know about, but a lot of you mainstream collectors have no idea. Chap May is the company that produces True Heroes, Soldier Force, Power Team Elite. They're all the same company. They're released under different names. And man, I've cleaned up with a lot of Chap May stuff. I was able to round out my G.I. Joe and Cobra collection with a lot of the findings that you've seen over the year and a couple that you're going to see soon. Mainly the AC-130 that you saw, the attack buggy, my Blackhawk, and that APC that you see right there. It's awesome stuff. In the coming weeks, I'll be doing a review on my Cobra version of that APC. Favorite games of last year. I only had a few favorite games, and I figure, you know, why not? So normally we do a top 3. These are going to be my top 4 games of the entire year. Here is number 4. Batman Arkham City. Yep, Arkham City, I was waiting for this game because I'm a Batman fan. But it looked like it was a hype machine, you know, it was a huge hype machine, and I kept feeling like something would be off. And, you know, the game came out, and it's fun at times, but there's things about it that kind of piss me off. But overall, it's a really good package of Batman stuff, you know. It seems like Rocksteady really gets the characterizations of all these characters really well. As far as you really feeling like Batman, you kind of do. You feel this is the closest you're going to ever feel or get to feeling like Batman. You know, I still don't get why he doesn't just have his mini blowtorch to cut out locks, but, you know, or I don't see why we can't ride the Batmobile or the Bat Wing or a Bat Cycle around the city, but, you know, they're almost there. So, you know, being a huge fan who, like, my Batman action figure collection, I have more shit for Batman than you had in this game, I'll still give him props, you know? So, Arkham City is number 4. Number 3, Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. I always call him Drake 3 or Drake 2 or whatever. But anyway, Drake's Deception. Cool game. I mean, it's one of those games where they kind of perfected, where they're really close to perfecting their niche, and their whole presentation is already great, so there's really nothing you can do. 2 was one of the best games I've ever played. 3 is just more of the best stuff you've already played. So, you know, and I saw it get a lot of bad reviews because it's more of the same, but I mean, it's like you go to an Arnold movie to watch Arnold do what he does. So you go to play a Drake's game to watch Drake do more of what he does, you know? End of story. So, yeah, I dig that. Gameplay is nice. There's little additions, but overall, if you've played the first 2, you know what to expect, and you will have fun for the most part. Number 2, Ace Combat Assault Horizon. I had been waiting for this game for a long time because I was a big fan of the first 2 Ace Combat games, and then I played the others, but I wasn't really like amazed because, once again, this is another example of a company perfecting their niche quickly, and then each game just being more of the same. So I was waiting for that next burst of you know, creativity or innovation or just a new spin on the presentation, and then we get this game. This game makes you feel like you are the most amazing fucking pilot there ever has been in the history of piloting airplanes of any kind. And it feels like you're watching a movie based on that. The things you do in this game are amazing. I mean, like, the camera puts you right in the action because it's a third-person game the way it always has been. It makes you feel everything, kind of like how the new Need for Speed games added the speed back into the game, and it feels kind of like, you know, they looked at the Fast and Furious and took that directorial style and added it into gameplay, imagine Top Gun with the visuals of the movie Stealth. And Stealth wasn't a great movie, but you gotta admit, the way the planes moved and all the dogfighting, it was pretty awesome, you know? Imagine Stealth crossed with Fast and Furious and Torque, that kind of direction added to your gameplay. That's what you have in this game. And it makes you feel like the shit. Whether you feel like shooting something down with your machine guns or just popping them with your missiles, you will feel like the shit. So pick it up. It is a great game. You will be doing yourself a disservice if you don't play it. If you're remotely interested in planes or amazed at the fact that we have planes and pilots that can do amazing things with these planes, you need to check this game out. End of story. My number one pick was Saints Row 3. Or the third. I love the Saints Row games. Well, I shouldn't say that. I love 2. Part 1 was just ignorant, and I wasn't feeling it, but what it turned into when Part 2 came out just won me over completely. They picked up where Grand Theft Auto left off by making the games, first and foremost, fun. You know, I don't give a shit about an Oscar award-winning story if the game is not fun. Saints Row has been fun. 2 was amazing. There were little things. It wasn't as cinematic as I wanted. 3 is definitely more cinematic. You lost some of your customization options all across the board, but you get a pretty cinematic experience. The level of craziness kind of levels out as you get to the end of the game, but you know, leveling out in Saints Row is still 10 times crazier than anything else you're going to play. So pick this game up. You are going to laugh really hard. You're going to be amazed at the shit that you're going to pull off, because you pull off some badass stuff, and you're just going to have a shitload of fun. And that's why we play games. Now, those are my top 4 games for last year. Now, these are the games I'm looking forward to this coming year and next year. I'm only going to do 2, because these are the 2 I'm really geeked about. Well, there's 3. So I'll do 2, and then I'll give you my super geeked, you know, wait or pick for the next, you know, couple years. The first or second, I'm sorry, is War for Cybertron. Transformers War for Cybertron. Trailer is awesome. The first game was awesome, especially because it had 3-player co-op all the way through the campaign. The second one, I guess they're getting rid of the co-op, but, you know, it could be good. My brother is, like, hardcore into Transformers, so by proxy, I'm pretty big into it, too. Not as big as he is, but I got my little Transformers collection. I like who I like, and I like the situations I like, and I've read a couple books, but I pale in comparison to him. So through him, I geek out with Transformers, so I'm waiting for that. My number one thing that I'm waiting for more than anything is, if you've ever heard me talk about shooters, I'm a huge Rainbow Six fan, and my whole crew, we all are Rainbow Six people, and we saw the trailer for or the leaked gameplay for Patriots. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I cannot wait for this game. It did exactly what I told you that Saints Row 2 needed to be better. They did it to you know, Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six is not at all, has never been cinematic, and it should be. Now, Patriots is showing you that they're going to be cinematic, but in a first-person, you know, way. Or from the first-person perspective, which is going to make the game extra awesome, because, I mean, this way you get to see all the cinematic shit happen right in front of you. So I can't wait for that game. It comes out in 2013, which kind of pisses me off, but still, we're getting a new Rainbow Six game, you know? That's going to be awesome. Now, my number one pick for what I can't wait to see is the Tekken versus Street Fighter. Namco's crack at the new crossover franchise. I absolutely hate Capcom now. These days, Capcom has pissed me off to the point where I no longer buy Street Fighter games. I barely play the ones I have because I'm so annoyed with what they've done to the franchise. You know, at least I can go back and play the old stuff. It's just I'm not feeling what they've been doing. I feel like they have bastardized the franchise to the point of no return. And it hurts my heart. But I've seen Namco's renderings of some of the characters, and, you know, I love Tekken. And with that said, I can't wait to see how they translate the Street Fighters into real martial arts. You know, I'm tired of seeing Street Fighter mimic everything else that's out there when Street Fighter is an originator. I mean, you're seeing Street Fighter mimic Naruto. What the fuck is that about? Street Fighter came first. Naruto has copied things from Street Fighter. They should be setting the standard, but we all know, those of us who care, we know that Capcom got rid of all their most innovative people. So they can't make a Street Fighter game that's really innovative. But Namco can. And if the Street Fighters are in the Tekken universe, they're going to have to fight. You're not going to be able to hide behind a fucking Shinku Hadouken. It's not going to work. So I can't wait to see what Namco does in Tekken Cross Street Fighter. And I also can't wait to see what's up with Tekken Tag 2. Next, I have my the movies, top movies of last year, in my opinion, my favorites. Let's start out with I Am Number 4. First half of the movie is kind of like meh, but the end half of that movie is insane. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I kind of went into it expecting it to fail, but it was worth the price of admission. Thor, awesome movie. They actually got the God of Thunder right. Felt just like the books, and he's my favorite Avenger, and I was happy about that. Sucker Punch, awesome movie. I don't know what people were talking about. There's things they did in that film that I've never seen done on screen before. Shit, I've never even seen it done properly in anime. So props to Zack Snyder for that one. Can't wait to see what he does with Superman. Super 8, another awesome J.J. Abrams film. I know he's one of those guys that gets a lot of shit because he keeps everything a secret, and he's kind of, you can see he's almost like being groomed to be the next Spielberg in terms of his directorial style. This movie was a departure from his usual stuff, but it had that semi-Spielberg-ish feel. I kept saying to people that it was like E.T. on steroids. Captain America, awesome film. They actually got him right. There were little changes that they made, but it felt like it made him a more believable character. I just wished that if they plan on proving to you how awesome this guy is, I was hoping they would show you more of his training and him actually doing the missions as opposed to a montage. But what are you gonna do? Besides that, the movie's perfect. I was pretty cool with that. Fast 5, Vin Diesel versus The Rock. I'm not even gonna go into detail. Something I've been wanting to see for a long time. Hannah, just badass. A little albino looking girl beating the shit out of everybody with moves like Jason Bourne. What? That's it. That's all there is. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I saw this movie twice. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it because I'm not really that big of a fan of Planet of the Apes. But I got to give him props for this one. The story was really interesting. The main character, Caesar, was pretty engaging, being that he only says like 2 lines in the whole movie. Well, a word and a line. And, you know, in my opinion, you know, what else is there to say? It was awesome. It was really well acted. Andy Serkis is an insane actor, an insane character actor, and it's always awesome to see him work, even in a movie that doesn't really seem like it would require that much. Immortals, just badass. They put the fantasy back and the myth back in Greek mythology, because it seems like for a long time studios have been working to take the fantasy and the magic out of film, and here it is. It's back, and they did a good job. Taram Singh is turning out to be one of my favorite directors. His style is just crazy. It's like watching moving paintings, you know? It just, I don't know, it's something to see. Even if you're not a big fan of Sword and Sandals films, check that movie out. And now for the martial arts films of 2011 that stood out to me. For those of you who don't know, Thailand is doing it big these days. Since Tony Jaa, it seems like all of these crazy martial arts films are popping out. And the action director, Pana Vitakrai, I think his name is. He's been in other movies before, so he's been in some Hong Kong films, so he understands Hong Kong action direction. It's just that his team is crazy. And an example of this is the movie Bangkok Knockout. The styles used in this, the falls taken in this, and the hits taken in this movie are ridiculous. I mean, if you can get past the fact that everybody is super metrosexual and trying to be super pretty and cool and stuff, you know, that typical like Asian supermodel stuff, get past the looks of the characters, and some of them actually look pretty cool, but you get past that and just look at what they actually perform right there in front of you. It's amazing stuff. It's like a throwback to what I grew up watching in Hong Kong cinema. So let's just hope that this catches on. But the movie is called Bangkok Knockout. It is definitely worth the price of admission. There are fight scenes in this that shit on most of the stuff that Tony Jaa has done in his, 3 Ong Bak movies and The Protector / Tom Yong-goon. It just makes him look kind of like, okay, now these guys can do this. What's next? And don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing Tony Jaa. I love Tony Jaa. I love his style. I love his approach to incorporating other martial arts in his own, choreography and his own type of action. But when you see what Pana is doing, whew, I'm telling you, just check this movie out. Next up, we got an American film, kind of a cartoon. It's a Kung Fu Panda 2. Now, I know a lot of you are like, martial arts film, Kung Fu Panda. It technically is a martial arts film. I know it's a cartoon, but they utilize martial arts in a different way from some other things, probably in a different way than anything I've seen before. This movie reminded me of the game Tai Fu for the PlayStation 1. You were a Kung Fu cheetah, and you practiced different styles, and the styles allowed you to do different things. It was like different powers keyed to the styles. That's what Kung Fu Panda 2 felt like when it came to the action. Every style that was showcased mimicked the real style, but it had an attribute that helped Ping do whatever, Like, it was ridiculous. It just, ridiculous in a good way, but it was amazing to watch this all unfold in front of you. Check this movie out. You will not be sorry. So, those are my movie picks. There probably is a ton more, but those were the ones that kind of stood out and amazed me the most. Now, the final thing I'm going to throw in here, which it wouldn't be fair for me not to do this, is YouTubers that kind of stuck out to me this year. The first one sticks out to me every year because I just love just about everything this dude does. Almost. Sometimes I'm like, dude, for real, you really did this? But Vangelis. Vangelis, for those of you who don't know, he primarily reviews toys, and he has some comedy up there. Dude's hilarious. I mean, he's a dork, nerd, whatever you want to call him, geek, like most of us. He's into a wide variety of stuff, but a lot of tokusatsu themed stuff, and he's like an insane Transformers collector. That's like his primary collection. His reviews are pretty informative. He's one of those who's kind of like me in terms of once you know what the line has to bring or has to offer, he doesn't bother going back over the stuff that you already know to expect from the line. He'll just focus on what's different about this particular offering. His videos, the quality of his videos are awesome. His lighting is nice, and he focuses on the freaking figure in question or whatever in question. So he's definitely one you need to check out. Another one you need to check out is Epic Rap Battles in History. Those guys are crazy. Stephen Hawking versus Albert Einstein. That's just one of the examples of the craziness they've got going on. They take two characters that are fairly similar and sometimes polar opposites, and they make them battle it out hip-hop style. And the funny thing about this is that the punchlines and the jokes, just, they're way more imaginative than the stuff that professional rappers are doing in their music. And these guys are comedians, whereas the so-called professional rappers, this is their profession, and I find that a lot of comedians can rap better than, professional rappers, so to speak, which I don't understand why that is, but whatever. I guess comedians are better writers. So, you know, hip hop or rappers or whatever you want to say, you guys need to step your game up with the writing. Well, I should say mainstream rappers, actually. There's a definite difference. But yeah, epic rap battles in history. Those guys are awesome. Check them out. Next up, we've got Angry Joe. Angry Joe has been a favorite of mine for a while. Sometimes he's hit or miss because, you know, I think he just generally likes some genres of games or some things in games that I don't typically like. But this guy, usually, he has the balls to point out the flaws and things in popular games that most people gloss over. And he likes to you know, point out issues that we kind of need to pay more attention to. And this kind of makes for some awesome reviews. He throws a lot of comedy into it too, so it makes it fun and, you know, enjoyable for everyone. So check him out. It was awesome. He was a fan of Street Fighter like me. And he noticed how Capcom kept on saying that they were going to do A, B, and C. And then when the game comes out, they do nothing that they told you they were going to do. And he actually talked to Seth Killian at, I want to say E3. And he bitched him out. And it was hilarious, you know. So check it out. Check out his page and see what, you know, Angry Joe is angry about this time. And lastly, it's my homeboy, Felonious Monk. You guys need to check this man's site out, or his page out. He's a comedian from the East Coast. Homeboy, he takes some time out to point out some of the bullshit that's going on and some of the things that people need to kind of, you know, get off of. And, you know, he points out a lot of controversy, and it's funny, you know, the way he says it. He's the dude who coined this, you know, his phrase is, stop it, B. If you're from the East Coast, we hear that kind of stuff all the time. What up, B? Chill, B. You know what I'm saying, B? You know what I mean? Instead of chill guard. That's what it used to be when I was little. But yeah, dude is awesome. He's real straightforward. He had a rant that made him famous that was about our government learning to pay its bills. So check him out. It's some stuff that, I mean, most of us know, but to hear someone else put it out there like this is nice, because sometimes you feel like you're the only one who sees these things, and here's someone else who does. So anyway, props to everyone who's been paying attention. Thanks for watching my videos and listening to me talk about the stuff that I like. And I hope you guys continue to dig what I have to say, because I'm just talking for the sake of talking, sharing my opinion, because, you know, there's some people who want to have conversations about these things, and I enjoy having conversations with you. And I hope that we're able to, you know, continue doing this. And you know, if more cool shit comes out, I'm going to have more cool things to say. If more whack shit comes out, I'm definitely going to have more things to say about how whack the shit is, you know? So, all my collectors, keep collecting, do your thing. All my comic book fans, keep reading. Hopefully good shit will pop up, you know, and we can talk about it. All my artists, continue making your art. Do what you got to do. At some point, we will take over. You know, everybody else, you know, stay up, do what you're doing. So thanks again, and I will see you in the next vid. Peace outside, my ninjas.